Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. An epidemic of disrespect in America, Part 2. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. As we reported earlier this week, 18-year-old Penelope Soto, arrested for drug possession in Miami, cursed out a judge during a bond hearing.
Did you say me?
Actually,
Did you say that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Oh, you did say that?
I'm not
I
gonna
find you in
lie.
direct criminal contempt. 30 days in the county jail.
Ms. Soto was immediately taken to the Turner Correctional Center, where she has been for the past 4 days. Now there's a new twist in the case, and we'll get to that in a moment. The actions of Ms. Soto demonstrate a clear disrespect for the judicial system, and Talking Points believes there's now an epidemic of disrespect in America. Some of you agree, some of you don't. But I think my case is getting stronger. We're following the terrible murder spree of former Los Angeles police officer Christopher Dorner. Fired from his job, he has killed 3 innocent people in Southern California. But on the net, thousands of people are actually applauding Dorner, calling him a hero for standing up against whatever. It's simply madness. But stuff like that is happening all over cyberspace. Also earlier this week, we told you the New York City public school system has changed its disciplinary code. No longer is cursing out a teacher in the classroom a suspendable offense. Now, little will happen to a student who does that. We all know that millions of American children have bad parents. And the combination of poor parenting, cowardly public education, and no standards at all on the net have created a perfect storm of disrespect. This is going to be a major issue in the USA going forward. There's an entire generation of younger Americans who simply don't care about tradition, about authority, about acting in an appropriate manner. These people will pay a price for that disrespectful point of view. But under the Obama administration, the respectful folks will also pay a price, because we will be supporting many of those misguided young people who can't prosper in the marketplace. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, new developments, as I said, in the Soto case. This afternoon, she appeared again before Judge Jorge Rodriguez-Chomat. Ms. Soto apologized to him, her attorney saying she was under the influence of drugs and her remarks were inappropriate. Here's how the judge replied today.
I should not even hold you as totally responsible. We live in a society where if you listen to music, every other word is a profanity. We live in a society where young people like you feel that it's perfectly okay to call all kind of names to their teachers and their professors and their friends, and they feel that's okay.
I think the judge watched my Talking Points memo earlier this week, because we're thinking around the same thing here. The judge then vacated the jail sentence, and if Ms. Soto can post $5,000 bond, she can get out. Joining us up in Los Angeles, Anahita Siddhagatfar, trial attorney. And from Kansas City, Dr. Brian Russell, a lawyer and psychologist. Dr. Russell, begin with you. What do you think about this case in general?
I liked it the way the judge had it, Bill. I think that consequences are key. We've got way too many young people being spared way too many consequences of way too many actions, and it's really rare in life that we actually help people long term by sparing them the consequences of their actions. In fact, Bill, that is much more the cause of our violence problem in our society than guns or lack of mental health care or any of this other stuff we've been talking about.
All right, but surely I think the judge, he was compassionate, and I think that was the correct thing. He made his point. She served 4 days in jail. I would have done the same thing. You're saying, Dr. Russell, that you would not have done the same thing? You would have let her stay in there for 30?
Absolutely. Are you you're not really going to bet me a dinner that this woman is going to clean up her act and not be back on drugs and back in trouble
as an
inside of a
officer
year?
of the court, though, I think he has to show some compassion. I would have done that because the woman had no prior. If the woman had a prior, I would have kept her in. Anahita, how do you see it?
Bill, you know, I say kudos to the judge. I certainly do not condone this girl's behavior. Clearly, she disrespected the court. Clearly, there's no excuse for what she did. And I agree with you, and I agree with the judge here that we do have an epidemic of lack of respect.
But you didn't agree with the judge when he hit her with the 30 in the first time around, did you?
No, and he went way too far, and I appreciate the fact that he took a step back and realized that he was not doing the right thing.
What would you have given this woman had you been the judge in that courtroom and she said F you to you?
Look, I've been in hundreds of courtrooms.
Anahita, you're in the courtroom, you're the judge. She says, F you would have done what?
That's criminal contempt, and I would have given her an admonition, and I would have warned her that she is not to engage in that. Absolutely. And if she broke that admonition, she's going to jail.
Would you have scolded her? Or an admonition? I mean, that's pretty frightening, Anahita. I mean, you know, come on.
Look, I would have certainly given her an admonition and let her know, that you cannot. No, but you have to give her a warning.
Why?
If she then violates that admonition.
I would have given her 2 weeks in community service. All right, let's get to the bigger picture here. The judge, his statement to her, and again, I just have a feeling he saw my talking points memo on Tuesday, because that's exactly what I'm saying here, that the culture now, particularly for those Americans under the age of 30, is just rife with disrespect on every level. And it's like, hey, blank you, I'm going to do what I want, Dr. Russell. As a psychologist, I'm sure you're seeing that.
Absolutely. We have way too many young people, Bill, being taught, not being taught to go through life thinking of themselves as part of something larger than themselves. And so what they're doing is going through life thinking of it like it's their own personal biopic in which they're the star and everybody else is just an extra. And the social media doesn't help. I always say if Narcissus lived today, then social media would be his...
They encourage it because it's a one-on-one thing. There's no community in the social media. It's just that. I got one more question for you, Anahita. I got to ask you this.
Yeah.
New York City public school system now says you can say F you to your teacher in a classroom in front of all those kids. They're not getting suspended. You're going to stay in that classroom. And you might get an admonition. Ooh. You think that's a good policy?
That's a little bit different. Look, I'm all for giving teachers in public schools more power to discipline kids. I think that we need to get to these kids before they end up before a judge like we see in this case with this poor girl.
Would you suspend kids if you were the head of the school district here in New York City? The kid curses out a teacher, you suspend a kid?
I would suspend the kid. Cursing at a teacher is not acceptable, but it's not like throwing them into jail, Bill.
So happy, Anahita. You made me so happy. All right, Councilor.
I'm glad to hear that, Bill.
Very interesting discussion.